Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions. Once again, it is a Thursday night, which means it's time for the Washington DC Region SCCA Virtual Racing League. We are at Spa-Francorchamps for one of the rounds in the second half of this season. First half has certainly been fantastic, and we're sure that these last few rounds are going to bring just as much incredible action to us as before. Question is, can anyone topple DJ Alessandrini and actually take a win this season away from him? That is the question that we will hope to answer here in virtual Belgium, as it looks like the sun is setting 9:30 p.m. in sim time. Going to be very interesting indeed. Bringing it to you live on the Pit Road Productions YouTube channel, it's me, Reese Gardner, with Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the commentary box, and also producing behind the scenes, Zippy. This is, of course, one of your Princess approved tracks, and I think it is one of mine as well. It's a legendary track, and for very good reason.
Yeah, it's the home of the Belgian Grand Prix, and fair to say, Belgium also home of the Belgian bun, which is going to mean absolutely nothing to 95% of the people who watch this, but anybody British will exactly know what I mean. It's certainly a confectionery item back in the UK, despite being called a Belgian bun. But no, definitely one of the Princess approved tracks, and certainly one of my personal favourites, the Spa 24-hour. One of the races I tend to want to do every single year, ladies and gentlemen. But don't get me wrong, we're not going to be doing 24 hours today. It's just going to be a mere 40 minutes. Don't get me wrong, there will still be a pit stop as far as I can remember. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But definitely looks like it's going to be a fun race indeed. And having a quick look at the grid, we've got a good field of drivers here as well. My only concern for Spa is, are these guys going to spread out a little bit? Are we going to see potentially some bump drafting going on after Eau Rouge and going down that front straight?
Yeah, indeed. That'll be very interesting to think about. As far as I'm aware, we haven't had pit stops at all this season. It is a 30-minute race, so yeah, it looks like it's just going to be an out-and-out sprint for these guys. But you do raise a good point. Fuel might be a factor here today, because there's so much time spent on throttle, and you'll have to think about the slipstream, as you indeed mentioned. Well, Spa is just one of many incredible tracks that we're going to this season. This is what the first half of the season looked like. VIR for round one, then Summit Point, Cadwell Park, and Mid-Ohio, before we took a bit of a distraction at Long Beach and the Formula Vs for our special event at the end of October. Then Suzuka and Manicure over the last couple of weeks. We're here at Spa-Francorchamps for round 8. The Bend, Sonoma, and Watkins Glen will be your final rounds of the season. Incredibly good sequence of circuits, particularly looking forward to the Bend next week. That is my home race.
Well, it's good to see Reese getting one of his Princess approved tracks there on the schedule. I've got to say a huge shout out to the supporters who have joined us in the chat. We've got CA3D0, I guess Kato, already before we'd even gone live, Rouge Spa Hype, and then we've also got John King, who's joined this chat, who says it'd be nice to see someone keep up with DJ. That is definitely fair. He did bring a friend in the form of I believe his name was Diego
Del Real.
That's him. Yeah, Diego Del Real, who does not appear to be here today, ladies and gentlemen. But don't get me wrong, we got the one and only Ken Housel back. Maybe Ken can indeed give him a run for his money. As Jack Chrissy currently only 5 tenths per second behind him in practice. That's not bad going. But saying that, let's take a quick look here at the championship points.
Yes, indeed. So DJ Alessandrini has won every race so far. He is head and shoulders above the field in terms of the standings, and I think with that kind of gap, it's going to be very difficult to catch him, if not outright impossible, in the final couple of rounds of the season. But the battle for second is quite close. Colin Denner on 82 points. He is only 5 points ahead of Ken Housel. Actually, 4 points, my apologies. So that's going to be an interesting battle to think about. Equal on points. It's a 3-way tie for 5th with Jake King, Adam Kobach, and Diego Del Real. Of course, Diego not here today, as Zippy pointed out. Leader and Chrissy on 62 points apiece. Those are the biggest battles in the top 10 as we move our way down. And, well, we've had a great variety of drivers taking part in this season. And now it's crunch time. This is where you need to get those points on the table if you want to secure your standing.
Absolutely. But speaking of standings, let's see if we can find somebody for an onboard lap here at Spa. Let's see who we can find. That looks like it's going to be absolutely perfect timing, potentially, as Adam Kobach appears to be starting the second half of the lap.
Yes, indeed. So, little bit of a history lesson for you all. Spa-Francorchamps, very long history indeed. I'm sure most people who are into motorsports know about it. Since 1921, this circuit has been active, and it used to be entirely public roads, a massive 13-kilometer 14-kilometer stretch on public roads between the villages of Spa, Malmedy, and Stavelot. Right now, we see that Adam Kobach is on the run through to Blanchimont. This used to be public road, but after 2007 or so, the circuit, after going through many layout changes and a big shortening and safety inning, I think, was closed off to the public. So it's all racetrack from here on out, 7 kilometers in length, and the lap starts now. So you got to think about turn 1 first at La Source. Braking hard in his Cayman, wind the lock on for the hairpin, and then get on the power. Try to stay off the anti-cut section of that curb and don't put a wheel in the gravel trap. The run out of La Source is so important. This is Eau Rouge, this kink at the bottom of the hill, then up through Radillon. An incredible sequence, one of the most iconic corner sequences in the world of motorsport. It should be just on the verge of flat out in a GT4 car. Then you come down the Kemmel Straight and up towards Le Combe, which is a fast S-bend / chicane, depending on how you define a chicane. The curbs can very easily be used around here, and then you got to keep it tight on exit to widen the entry into Malmedy. This is going to bring you on a short straight down to Bruxelles, which is a very descending right-hander. You double back on yourself, literally 180 degrees. It's like a giant hairpin. And through Jackie X, this is going to be one of the most difficult corners to get right in the race. It looks pretty simple there, but it's very easy to understeer and get a wheel off the track. Pouon, a double left-hander coming down the hill. It's flat out in a Formula 1 car, but in a GT4, you have to brake and be very smooth on the power on the way out. Then it's Fagné, this right-left sequence, which is beautifully flowing. I love going through here, especially in a downforce car. It's a real pleasure, but in a car that's more focused on mechanical grip, it's certainly much more of a challenge. Stavelot and Paul Frere coming onto the public roads once again. The entire section from Le Combe to Stavelot was built as dedicated racetrack, and now we're back on the original circuit once more for the run up to Blanchimont. This fearsome left-hander in a GT3 car, it's almost flat out. In a GT4, you definitely have to tap the brakes to settle the car, then hard on the brakes for the final chicane, often called the bus stop because it used to be resembling a bus stop, but its layout was reconfigured in 2007 along with the first corner. That is a lap of Spa-Francorchamps, an iconic circuit, and for very good reason.
Yeah, definitely one of the top circuits in the iRacing service and indeed on the planet, ladies and gentlemen. But I've got to say, despite the fact it's a longer lap, we're nearly 2.5 minutes, well, at least for some of the drivers, 2.5 minutes here. It's incredibly close in the qualifying standing so far. Right now, Tom Radford, though, looking to try and improve from position 21 as he comes across the line.
Yes, a lap around here takes about 2.5 minutes to complete in a GT4 car. It looks like is that Franz Hansen we're taking a look at there?
Yep, Franz Hansen.
Yes, it looks like he ran a bit wide out of the final chicane, so that's not going to be ideal for him. That probably won't be a valid lap time there. The time to beat is a 2:28.5 that DJ Alessandrini has set, and he's actually brought that down to a 2:28.4 now. So this is not going to be ideal for anyone else looking to improve their time. They'll have even more to gain as the session ticks down.
Yeah, Jack Chrissy now, he's currently in P2 about 4 tenths of a second behind, and we've got to say fair play to him. But Reese, we should probably have a quick mention here from our sponsors.
Yes, indeed we should. Washington DC Region SCCA with many partners, sponsors and supporters, including OG Racing, the official motorsports safety gear and equipment supplier to the Washington DC region, staffed by racers for racers. OG stocks everything from helmets, driving suits, shoes and gloves, seats, data systems and top quality brake pads from PFC, Hawk and Paget. With over 35 years of supporting racers, OG Racing has earned a reputation for providing exceptional customer service in the industry, staffed by an expert team that ensures you have the gear you need to go fast and stay safe. Visit their 12,000 square foot warehouse in Sterling, Virginia.
Not only that, we have the Radial Tire Company. Since 1976 has proudly served the DC area, providing quality tires and exceptional service. Renowned as a premier specialist in hard-to-find performance tires and wheel applications, they stock tires from top manufacturers ranging from trucks to sports cars and racing machines. Their mission is to maximize your vehicle's potential on the road and the track. We also have, ladies and gentlemen, RP Performance. For over 30 years, RP has been at the heart of racing as a neighbor to Summit Point and standing out as a premier race car shop specializing in street and track masters. In addition to track support and transport, RP is a full-service shop, helping drivers with their racing and other track event needs. Known for their helpful attitude, RP works diligently to get cars back on track, ensuring positive experience for all Summit Point events. RP has accrued many wins and championships within various classes under the RP Performance banner. Reese, are you feeling better now, buddy?
Belmont Classic Cars is a family-owned dealership located in Eastern Ohio, specializing in classic American muscle cars from the 1960s and 1970s. They pride themselves on selling iconic rides and only offer cars they would want to add to their collection. Established in 2017, the owners, Andy and Dana Mistak, inherited their passion for cars from their fathers, avid enthusiasts of Chevy and Ford vehicles. Outside of the family business, the entire family has been involved in racing, from motocross, trophy trucks, and their new endeavor of road racing. Last but not least, Grand Touring Enterprises is an internationally recognized full-service classic automotive facility located in Frederick, Maryland, with a mission of keeping legends in motion. Their commitment to classic vehicles spans service, restoration, secure climate-controlled storage, sales, and consignment. Grand Touring also offers full collection-level consultation and management services alongside concours-level detailing. Their focus is on preserving the history and prestige of these vehicles and ensuring that the driving experience is equally spectacular and authentic. Well, here we go then, Zippy. It's almost time to have a look at the grid. Just 30 seconds remaining in the qualifying session, but for the moment, it looks like Jack Chrissy is DJ Alessandrini's closest competitor.
Well, fair play. We've got a cheerleading section for Jack Chrissy in the chat today. We've got, let me see here, Gwendolyn Holzer cheering Jack on in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. So fair play. And I could see the number 6 has indeed brought reinforcements in the stands.
Yes, certainly. Excellent to see. This is going to be a fun race for sure. And whichever driver you're supporting out there, certainly hope that they do well for your sake. Spa is a brutal circuit, and it does claim many victims in a typical online race, but this is a great crew of drivers, and I'm sure that they will be absolutely fine with bringing you a fantastic show as the sun sets in the Ardennes. DJ Alessandrini on pole with Jack Chrissy alongside, with Ken Housel and Adam Kobach in 3rd and 4th. Colin Denner and Jake King are 5th and 6th, with Andrew Lunsford and Anthony Montello in 7th and 8th. The top 10 rounded out by Franz Hansen and Klaus Wood.
As we have a look there at P11, it's going to be Thomas Toomey alongside Cooper Van Horn for P12. In 13th, Kevin Zhu is going to be there alongside Reed Shannonbrook, with Tyler Sadiq in 15th and Will Long in 16th. Having a look at 17th, we've got Lewis Alessi there alongside Thomas Lathrop in 18th, with Jonathan Crane in 19th, and Jason Rode being the final car in the top 20.
In 21st place, we have Trenton McMillan with Timothy Homan alongside him. Charles Miller and Cameron Guth on row number 12 with Tom Radford and Wally Heidecek on the 25th and 26th places. Nick Jones registered for the race, but he does not have a time in practice or qualifying, and it doesn't look like he's going to be taken to the grid. So 26 cars taking to the start here at Spa, getting ready for their run into Fagnes here. They've decided to go for the medium length formation lap option on this circuit. You have various options. You can either do a full formation lap from the grid, or you can start the grid here at Fagnes or on the run up to the final chicane. So we're going to have a little bit more time in our hands here to watch these guys tour to the line.
I've got to say, we are indeed missing Dylan Newhart this evening. I had a feeling he was going to be here tonight. I felt sure he was messaging me earlier in this week saying he's excited to be back here on the rig. But Dylan Newhart, actually, when it comes to just, taking in this beautiful grid, usually gives us a fun paint. And I've got to be honest, I've been missing it, not just because we miss Dylan, but because the paint always added a little bit of comic relief there to the show. But right now, it looks like we're getting the final couple of cars out on the grid as DJ Alessandrini will indeed be leading them away.
Yes, he will. So let's see then, as we make our way through the final half of this lap. Got a little bit of variety here in the field. DJ Alessandrini's in an Aston Martin.
That's not like him. He's usually in a Porsche.
Yeah, he's usually in the Porsche Cayman. We'll have to wait and see if this is a one-off or a car change for the rest of the season, because the Aston Martin is quite the interesting GT4 car to drive. It handles well enough, but the gear ratio is a little bit strange compared to the other cars. The Aston Martin uses the gear ratios from the road version of the Vantage, whereas pretty much every other GT4 car uses a race spec gearbox, aside from maybe the McLaren. I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, considering that Alessandrini was able to still get pole position despite that, real testament to his talent and showing that really the car doesn't matter. That no car has a really distinct advantage here. The balance of performance in GT4 quite even as they come up to the line.
Well, we do have a comment in the chat there from PRG Grip, and again, firstly, make sure your kids get better. Obviously, that's number one. But he says that DJ Alessandrini put up a poll in the Discord saying, you guys choose the car. So that's why he's in the Aston Martin, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed we are getting ready for a green flag. We're not there yet. It can often be a little bit of a hectic start here at Spa. We're going to see, are they going to be using that for the start? They're going to get round turn one first.
It's the endurance layout.
So I guess
so they are going to be starting out
around,
of the hairpin.
Yes. Lovely.
Yes, so side by side potentially into Eau Rouge and Radillon. This is going to be an interesting start for sure. Who's going to make it out the other side up the top of the hill? Alessandrini now has control of the field, and he puts the power down, and the green flag flies. We are away for round 8 of WDCR. And into the first corner. Looks like the Mustang of Ken Housel has gotten the run on Jack Chrissy, and he's having a big slide there at the top of the hill. Cold tires in very dark conditions. You need to take care up the hill. But evidently, that Mustang is a mammoth run in a straight line, and we're going to see Alessandrini under a bit of pressure on the way into turn one. Cooper Van Horn sneaking up the inside of Kevin Zhu, but it doesn't look like he's going to have much to deal with there, as side by side again there, Ken Housel and Jack Chrissy fighting over second, as Alessandrini's just minding his own business out the front. Oh, round he goes. Jack Chrissy is around in the middle of the circuit, and that's resulted in a bit of contact and a traffic jam as everyone tries to find their way around him. Chrissy gets out of the way just in time for another car to spin around him, and oh dear, that is horrendous for Jack Chrissy. Did he lose that by himself?
I have a feeling that may have been a little bit of cold tires. Let's see if we can take a quick look at that here in just a second. That's disappointing. He's gone back to the pits.
Ended up towing. That's not ideal. That leaves DJ Alessandrini with quite a lead there. So we'll keep on this chopper view here, Jack Chrissy, as Ken Housel was putting him under a lot of pressure. And yeah, you can see that little flick, that little wobble in the middle of the corner. That was cold tires, and Chrissy just got unsettled. That's a real shame. What that has done is it's left DJ Alessandrini with a 1.6 second lead.
My.
And it is, oh dear, things are getting interesting here in the back of the field. Reed Shannabrook in the number 15.
Oh my.
Along with Kevin Zhu, Thomas Twomey, Thomas Lathrop, and Klaus Wood, side by side into Blanchimont. This is not going to work out well. Or maybe it does. They just managed to sneak through.
I gotta be honest, that went surprisingly well. I thought it was going to be chaos, panic, and disorder, and was about to say that my work here was done, but that was incredibly good driving from all drivers involved. That looked like somebody just took to the pits there. A couple of drivers.
Yeah,
That's Thomas Toomey. Where's he heading
black
off?
Flag.
Oh dear, the car doesn't even look that bad.
It looks like Jack Chrissy had a mechanical black flag as well. Jason Rode, Timothy Homan, and Tom Radford also picking up mechanical black flags on lap 1, and they've been in the pits for a while. So it looks like there's been more to that spin for Jack Chrissy than we imagined. I think as the field came through, we got a lot of contact and a lot of drivers that unfortunately had to tow for repairs. Meanwhile, slow down central. DJ Alessandrini, our leader's got one at the top of the hill. That's going to lead Ken Housel into the lead of the race. Cooper Van Horn, Thomas Lathrop, Talis Sadiq, Wally Heidechek, and Cameron Guth all dealing with slowdowns as the tyres warm up. It's very difficult to find the limit of grip, and I think up the top of the hill, that third apex, the left-hander, I think is what's gotten most of them. So that's resulted in quite the interesting mix-up here.
Yeah, definitely, we've got some good races going on. And fair to say, we literally commentated the race with the most amount of slowdowns and indeed black flags we have ever seen yesterday here on Pit Road Productions. Maybe we'll get a run for the money on slowdowns, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, we've got a battle happening here between 3 drivers, actually 4 drivers. It's Lewis Alessi, Talis Sadiq, Will Long, Trenton McMillan, and indeed Jonathan Crane all getting in on the action, fighting for P14.
All right. Let's see how things go here. Alessi up 3 positions in 14th. Talis Sadiq and Will Long. Thus far, the only 2 drivers in the field that still occupy the same position they started in, followed by Trenton McMillan and Jonathan Crane. Crane right here at the back of the pack as he tries his best to get a bit closer to the Mustang through Stavalo. Smooth turn in. But looks like the exit belongs to the big American V8, at least in the short term.
Yeah, certainly it looks like the Cayman's going to get a little bit of a run though, and it looks like he is indeed going to go for it. Now I have to ask myself, Reese, what is the best play here? Do you want to fight alongside people, or are you better off going for a bump draft? Don't get me wrong, the GT4, not really a momentum car per se, as they go side by side through Blanchimont. Again, I got to say, I'm impressed with these drivers being able to hold it there, as it looks like Talis Sadiq and indeed it looks like Will Long are indeed going side by side further up.
Yeah, so Sadiq is ended up trading spots there with Will Long, and Lewis Alessi has jetted away from these 2 battling Caymans. So the BMW was looking strong there. Alessandrini, meanwhile, behind Colin Denner. And they battle for second place. It is a Mustang 1-2 in the hands of Housel and Denner. Right there is where... Yep, saw that coming indeed. Colin Denner a little bit too far over the curb, and so he has to give way to DJ Alessandrini down the straight. It looks like Jake King also...
I lost you, Reese. Reese? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appear to have lost our comrade Reese Gardner for the moment. Reese, just chime in when you are indeed back, as it looks like these guys really suffering with the slowdowns right now. You're back again. Come back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're just going to have to suffer with me as we return to the battle for the lead right now. Ken Halsall out there in front with DJ Alessandrini with the slowdowns. He's cleared Colin Denner by about 1.8 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Zhu having a little bit of a battle further back as well for P10. But right now, DJ Alessandrini very much on the attack here against Ken Halsall. Good to see he has indeed made his return, and very much so has got to try and put on the defensive game. Now, don't get me wrong, at Spa, defending, there is only so much you can do. The draft is enough on the straightaways that you can indeed force a maneuver, but then you got to wonder, is the strategic pass going to come into play? But right now, all Halsall can do is try and make that Mustang as wide as possible.
Indeed. Sorry about that. My USB device has reset again. I don't know why that happened. Anyway, Alessandrini back into the lead. And it looks like, unless he gets another slowdown, that might stay that way. Alessandrini, the fastest driver in the field, and I have to say, it's going to be difficult to catch him. We've got to try and keep it nice and clean over the course of this one. Slowdowns seem to be the main factor of the race here today. Cooper Van Horn, meanwhile, with Kevin Zhu just ahead of him. That is one position up and one position down, respectively, for these two at the back end of the top 10. It's quite amazing, honestly, the way things end up working out. We'll have to wait and see for the moment what can be done here to keep up in the slipstream, because we're starting to see these drivers split off into groups, and with a bit of distance between them, it's going to be difficult to make up positions going forward. We are rapidly approaching the 1/3 race time mark as Will Long tries his best to keep Lewis Alessi behind him.
Well, a little bit further up the field, Thomas Lathrop has managed to pick up a slowdown. You're going to see Klaus Wood potentially find his way past as they go down the straightaway, as that looks like a passing opportunity here. Cooper Van Horn getting under the attack here from Reed Shannonbrook. It is indeed going to be Ford versus Mercedes as Shannonbrook applies the pressure, heading down is the right-hander. Not quite able to get there, flirting with the curb, dipping a toe in the sand, but not yet able to move his way up into the top 10.
All right, so Shannonbrook doing his best here to keep up with the Mustang, which tends to have a bit of a straight line speed advantage and accelerates really well out of the corners. The Mercedes that Shannonbrook is driving, more of an all-rounder car, and it is quite a stable platform, if a little oversteery. It's my personal choice when it comes to GT4 racing. The Porsche Cayman, on the other hand, the most numerous car in the field, and depending on who you ask, it ends up becoming, okay, it looks like that might be a technical problem there for Lewis Alessi. Jonathan Crane, meanwhile, in yet another Cayman. Depending on who you ask, this car is a bit understeery at times, but it is the physical smallest chassis of the GT4 class, and that means it's quite nimble through the corners.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that myself. Tend to be, usually the Cayman is my go-to for the GT4 field myself. I find the AMG absolutely feels like a bit of a tank, and certainly the Aston Martin always had a hard time getting power down in the lower gears. Right now, Wally, obviously Wojciech Hajicek trying to apply a little bit of pressure there to the back of Jonathan Crane. Don't get me wrong, the hard charger in the field right now is indeed this driver, the number 17 here, up 9 positions on the day, but can he keep it going and make it to 10 and find his way up into P16?
Okie dokes. Moving a little bit further forward, Cooper Van Horn holding on to P10, and Shannonbrook is really catching up to him now. It looks like he's bringing Klaus Wood and Thomas Lathrop with him as well, as that's very deep under the brakes for the two Caymans behind. They catch up just in time for the apex of La Source, but it looks like the Mustang and the Merc are going to lead the charge out of the first hairpin, or rather the last hairpin, this being the endurance layout. The start-finish line is between La Source and Eau Rouge.
Well, you see that Shannonbrook has just picked up a slowdown, so I think we're about to see Klaus Wood make a pass as he tucks in right behind the Mercedes, and Shannonbrook's still going for it. This could be an absolutely courageous move, or one that absolutely backfires. While he has managed to find his way ahead, he's got to very carefully serve that slowdown without losing track position. If he can pull this off, it is going to be a defensive masterclass there. How is he going to hold on?
How is he going to hold on? Indeed. Oh, the Mustang, is first to the apex. There's no sign of the apex for Reed Shannabrook, and that's going to lose him 2 positions there. Klaus Wood finds his way past, and it looks like there's going to be pressure from Lathrop as well. Oh, black flag for Ken Housel. That is far from ideal. Is that not clearing a slowdown in time? I think it is.
Yeah, that's definitely would be my best guess. But right now, the biggest battle is indeed back here. It goes from P10 all the way down to P14. Ladies and gentlemen, Will Long at the back of that pack, rocking I think it's Lizard Brains Racing podcast livery today. Fair play to him. I don't actually have that livery, DJ. Subtle hint. So you can see these guys having a 5-way fight there. Absolutely fantastic. So Shannabrook, I gotta say, he served that slowdown incredibly well. Don't get me wrong, he went a little bit wide, but still able to stay in this pack. That's probably the best serving of a slowdown we've seen so far this evening at Spa.
Yeah, indeed. He cost himself minimal time, and he is right back on the attack again. It's certainly the opposite of what's happened to Ken Housel, who's going to bring it into the pits to serve that black flag. Reminder that this is only a 30-minute race, and the cars have enough fuel to get to the end usually. So you won't be seeing drivers in pit lane unless something goes wrong there. My goodness me, what a move from Reed Shannabrook. Around the outside of Wood into the chicane and gets the inside for the left-hander, but there is space, just enough space to the inside of La Source for the Cayman to try and get it done here. Shannabrook, though, will get on the power nice and early, nice and straight, and you can see there Housel making his way through pit lane. That's something that we haven't thought about. Black flags will be especially brutal around here because they use the endurance pits. That combines both pit lanes at this circuit, and you're going through there at only 70 k's an hour. It's going to take you a crazy long amount of time to serve a black flag.
Oh, a little bit of a shock there. That looked like maybe a lapped car. I believe that was Louis Alessi there trying to get these guys gone on the straightaway. Fair play to him, as it looks like Colin Denner just served the slowdown as well. But right now, Reed Shannabrook getting into it there. Thomas Lathrop having a battle with Klaus Wood, but Cayman versus Cayman. And Cooper Van Horn has managed to pull away about a second in all of this. But can he keep with it here as the two Caymans are going side to side, battling hard away with Will Long lurking in the background?
This battle is fantastic, the way that it's evolved. We've got to wait and see if anyone has a excuse me, clear pace advantage over anyone else here. For the moment, the Caymans seem to be all over the Mercedes through the corners, but Shannabrook, whenever there's an attack, he seems very keen to respond, and he responds well. His run up the field is small. He has only gained 3 positions, but it's still been quite a profitable day for the Mercedes, who currently rounds out that top 10.
Yeah, fair play to him. He's definitely had some good aggression as well. Certainly Shannabrook has been on it, but it looks like Anthony Montello now getting into a battle here with Andrew Lunsford, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly one of the Montello brothers has graced us with their presence, as we do indeed have a Cayman versus a Mercedes on this occasion. Certainly the McLaren being a little bit underrepresented today, with only Jack Chrissy taking it to the grid. Actually, yeah, just Jack Chrissy, my bad.
Yes, and unfortunately, Jack Chrissy, after turning around on lap 1, is all the way down in 22nd place. And for the record, Ken Housel, after serving his black flag, he actually spent 18 seconds stopped in his pit box, is down in 21st place now. So that's going to be a huge blow for him in terms of championship points. Housel was second in the championship, or third, if my memory serves me correctly. So that's going to potentially provide some championship implications to the end of the season. That was Talas Sadiq, I believe, going for a little bit of an adventure in the gravel trap, and Jason Rode doing the same thing. That gravel trap at La Source, a relatively new addition to the circuit. For the majority of the track's existence, there was just a wall on the exit of that corner. Then it was tarmac runoff from 2007 to about a few years ago. Then they put gravel traps back in for bikes. Pass made for Klaus Wood, but Thomas Lathrop will get to the apex of Lacombe first, and these Caymans will continue their side-by-side run, allowing Reed Shanabrook to gain a bit more time on them. This is the problem when you're involved in a battle with another driver, but you're both chasing yet another driver ahead of you. If you think that you're faster, then, oh, who's that? That's Tom Radford. Tom Radford's stopped at Bruxelles, and I'm unsure exactly how that came about. He loses one position there to Lewis Alessi, who I believe had recently come into the pits himself, I think, to serve a black flag. Radford very deep, and there's no grip out there in the tarmac runoff, so around he goes.
Let's find out what happened to Ken Halsall as well. There he is going through the bus stop, and oh, a little bit of a technical issue there, but everything else appears to be a-okay.
Looks like that was on his way out of the pits. Radford has picked up the black flag for his troubles. That's not ideal. All right. Now it's the battle of the Mustangs again for P2 and 3, but this time it's Colin Denner versus Jake King. And King finds room to the outside there. The defensive line from Denner could work, but he needs to make his way through this left-hander. He tried to make the apex, but King was already past him. And now Franz Hansen and Adam Koback are going to make themselves a part of this fight again. DJ Alessandrini will be loving this. He now leads by nearly 5 seconds as Hansen tries to get up the inside of Colin Denner. But the Mustang on the wider line out of the hairpin gets the better exit.
Yeah, certainly fair play to him there, as it looks like Adam Koback and Franz Hansen both getting involved in this battle all of a sudden. Some fantastic stuff. Thomas Radford is telling me he's crashed again. Definitely not the day he's looking for, but indeed it's going to be a battle from 2 all the way down to 5, ladies and gentlemen. So 2 podium places in contention, and certainly here at Spa, you've got to think tactically. Don't get me wrong, Alessandrini has the pace that he can just run away when he feels like it. But right now, these drivers have got to think strategically about when is going to be the best time to make that pass.
Oh, they're continuing the side-by-side through Lacombe again. This is exactly what I was talking about before. You know, you get too involved with each other, you just let the guy in front get away. If you think you're faster, then make the move quickly and cleanly. But if you're very close on pace, then you guys are going to be trying to work yourselves out for half a lap or more. Finally, it seems Franz Hansen has found his way past Colin Denner, but for how long? I'm sure that Mustang's going to respond.
Oh, absolutely, certainly. But saying that, Adam Koback is right there with him. You know, how hard do you want to fight? Andrew Lunsford in the Mercedes. You can just see him there in the background along with Anthony Montello. They're only about 2 seconds, 3 seconds back. So certainly, you know, these guys start battling too hard, they are indeed going to let them get away. Jake King has done exactly that. He's pulled away about an 1/8 of a second lead over this pack for P3.
Yeah, working out very well in P2 for the moment. It's now a 3-way fight for third, you could call it, with Colin Denner being the American hot dog in a German pumpernickel role, I suppose, with the 2 Caymans in front and behind. And this is the highest battle in the field at the moment. Looks like Talis Sadiq, meanwhile, has just towed back to pit lane. And I'm not entirely sure why. It seems that Klaus Wood has also been in the pits for about a minute or so. Sadiq running off the circuit at Fagnes and coming to a stop. I think that might have been a real-world issue there. Klaus Wood, meanwhile, he tried to make the move there.
Oh!
And, oh dear. That's what happens when you go side-by-side through a Rouge and Radillon and you get it wrong.
Yeah, certainly. I did see a crash warning for a few of these guys. That's certainly 3, maybe 4 cars involved. Ended very, very badly. But certainly, this is why I'm glad that we do it on the sim and not in the real world, because that could have been absolutely catastrophic there. As Adam Koback right now applying a very healthy amount of pressure here to the back of Franz Hansen in the 44.
And it looks like Hansen has run wide on the exit of the complex there. A lot of momentum lost, and Adam Koback will duly slip by into 4th place on the way down to Lacombe, or will he? Looks like Hansen responding well, either that or Koback lifted off. And now we'll see Lunsford find his way up to 6th place and potentially look at a top 5. More speed at the apex, but not enough space to get the over-under going. Is there room to the inside for a move under brakes? Not quite. Lunsford's going to wait for another opportunity. We have already covered 20 minutes. Where has the time gone?
Yeah, been an absolutely fantastic race so far. As far as worried these guys been spreading out, but we've had some incredible groups of battles there, and certainly a 4-way fight, maybe even a 5-way fight happening. But right now, Colin Denner has absolutely ran away from Franz Hansen. Jake King, though, still very much in raid. He's about 8 tenths of a second ahead now, but realistically, what Franz wants to do is try and pull away and get himself back up into podium contention here. But I don't think Kobach, Lunsford, or indeed Anthony Montello are going to be keen to let that happen.
Yes, this battle's going to continue all the way to the end of the race. And when I say that, and then I look at the predicted laps remaining, it spins me out. This is such a long circuit that it looks like there's actually only going to be 3 laps left for our leaders when they cross the line next. A 2.5-minute lap spaced out over about 8 minutes. Well, I guess you could call it 4 laps to go. We'll see how it works out, but it doesn't seem like there's much of an opportunity to make up time. But this is such a long circuit with such long straights, it can very easily be done. Side by side for 10th, Will Long versus Thomas Lathrop. Coming into Blanchimont, who's going to be the bravest? Dragging the brakes a little bit longer is Will Long, and Thomas Lathrop is through.
I definitely got to commend these guys. The amount of side-by-side we've seen in places where you wouldn't normally suggest it is a sheer testament to the quality of drivers we got here in here tonight. I mean, I love Spa, I've been through Spa, and certainly the GT4 does not quite have the same amount of aerodynamic grip as some of the other cars in the service, so fair play to these guys, but don't get me wrong, they are absolutely sending it now up through Earth Rouge, through Radeon, and still very much in contention here is the P4 spot, ladies and gentlemen, potentially even P3 if they can catch up to Colin Denner, who's not been able to make a move here on Jake King, who's very solidly in second, as Franz Hansen has indeed picked up a slowdown, as has Kevin Zhu a little bit further back.
Yeah, slowdown central here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Oh!
It was.
That's
That's Lunsford. Oh no! Lunsford was having an incredible run up through the field. Managed to get himself into the top 5, but that will come to naught here. Was this a solo mistake or contact? It was contact.
Yeah, it looked like Kobach just got in on the inside of him. Let's see if we can get another view from there.
Yes, so Kobach here, he tried to respond under brakes, and I mean he was pretty much alongside, but I think there was a bit of a miscommunication between the two of them. I suppose we'll leave that up to the stewards to decide. Regardless, I'm sure that Lunsford is going to be unhappy with how that went down. So he gets alongside at turn-in, but yeah, it looks like he carried the brakes a bit further along and actually was alongside the rear axle at the point of contact. So that might be on Adam Kobach there.
Well, definitely not an incident I would want to call. Maybe I have to watch that another few times. But right now, Will Long, he's having a good race so far. Representing Lizard Brains Racing Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. As right now, he's on the back here of Thomas Lathrop, who is up 8 positions. But don't get me wrong, our hard charger right now, Wally Hosicek. He's there in the number 17, up in P12 overall, gaining 14 positions from the start.
That's a crazy good run there from Wally. Honestly, his qualifying performances usually aren't anything to write home about, but when it comes to the race, if he gets everything right, he's almost always one of the hardest chargers in this field. He's definitely a racer, so let's hope that run can continue for him. He's not too far behind Lathrop and Long here, and the more they battle, the more time they'll cost each other. Meanwhile, Trenton McMillian and Jonathan Crane alongside into the final corner. Change for position there for 13th, and that will make Jonathan Crane up from 19th to 13th, and McMillian up to 14th from outside the top 20. Another impressive run.
Yeah, it looks like Louis Alessi is going to be the camera car for that scenario, but battles happening throughout the field, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed it looks like Jonathan Crane has, he's going to try and have to keep his foot down, ladies and gentlemen, see if he can try and shake that mighty Mustang of Trenton McMillan, but we head a little further up here as Anthony Montello now getting into a battle with Franz Hansen. Don't get me wrong, Hansen was a little bit further up through the field, but then served a massively detrimental slowdown. Could this be the opportunity for Montello to try and regain and hold on to P5 over the driver of the number 44?
Yeah, so Franz Hansen and Anthony Montello both elevating themselves up from their starting positions. Montello started in 8th and Hansen started in 9th. And the slowdowns and the incidents for drivers ahead of them have really benefited them thus far as we're well and truly into the night now. This is, I'm really a fan of this choice of time of day. We've needed a night race around here, and it's certainly made the track temperature nice and stable at 24 degrees Celsius. I reckon there's quite a bit of grip available in those tires at the moment. Question is, who is making the best use of it in this battle? The faster of the two on time at the moment is Franz Hansen. His fastest lap is nearly 0.8 of a second faster than what Anthony Montello could manage on his fastest, but Montello seems to be the quicker of the two in the late term.
Yeah, certainly you can see there by the laps. We're doing it wrong. Franz Hansen, we know, did pick up that slowdown. It looks like Jack Christie currently serving one as well, as this is the highest place position battle we got going on, as we're going to check in back again here with Will Long and indeed Thomas Lathrop.
Still fighting over 10th place as they find their way to Blanchimont. I'm monitoring the time remaining and where DJ Alessandrini is, because he's just coming up to the line. This could be a few seconds in it for the final lap of the race, as that's a dive there for Will Long. Thomas Lathrop picking up a black flag, and that is not ideal at all. He wasn't able to get into pit lane. He didn't clear a slowdown in time, I think. Ran a little bit too far beyond track limits out of Blanchimont, potentially. I'm not entirely sure. Regardless, Thomas Lathrop, on the very final lap of the race, is going to have that result fall to naught.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong, at this point, I would honestly just keep my foot in it and do it for the battle, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly have some good fun, as he has indeed dropped back 0.4 of a second, very much still in range. As we check in, though, Trenton McMillan, he's certainly still trying to apply pressure there to the back of Jonathan Crane. Now, this could have been strategic, ladies and gentlemen. He could indeed be looking to try and make a slipstream out of Eau Rouge and try and find his way ahead. But then you got to wonder, is Blanchimont going to be an opportunity for the tables to turn back again and put Jonathan Crane back when it matters?
All right, here we go. Let's see. With Trenton McMillan keeping the pace up in the Mustang, there's so much power underneath the bonnet of that machine. But it looks like he's unable to take advantage of it at the moment. So many fast-flowing corners around Spa-Francorchamps. And it seems that Darty Cayman is looking a lot better in this section of the circuit. Or is it? As that's wide on entry there for Jonathan Crane, and Trenton McMillan will move alongside. How much of a response is there from Crane? Not much there, as they find their way out of Jackie X. The Mustang is ahead.
But for how long, Reese? But for how long? We're going to head up a little bit further back, though, because it looks like Anthony Montello and Franz Hansen are going to be going at it in the final stages of this race. They've got Blanchimont left to go, and indeed make their way through the bus stop. As DJ Alessandrini, he must be getting near the end of the track right now. There you go. He's just gone through Blanchimont, making his way down towards the bus stop, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, but we're going to... in the nicest way possible, DJ, get over that line quickly, buddy. Well done. Congratulations. An absolutely astonishingly brilliant drive. But we're going to go back here to Franz Hansen and indeed Anthony Montello. It's just going to be a battle for position in the final two corners of this race.
Final three corners. Remember, the start-finish line is after La Source. Franz Hansen thinks he might be out of it here, but there is going to be another response from him. DJ Alessandrini is going to take victory ahead, crosses the line, and the battle will continue here between Montello and Hansen. That is incredibly defensive there from Franz, and it looks like Montello just parked it on the apex there and allowed Franz Hansen to get away. Alessandrini actually is still at full pace. I think this might be the last lap.
Yep, I'm going with it off that's going because he is still keeping his foot down and Thomas Lathrop's still carrying that flag. And oh no, Montello has picked up a slowdown. That is absolutely catastrophic news for the driver of the 268. He was having such a good battle there with Franz Hansen in the number 44, but now you've got to wonder, can he shake that slowdown quick enough to make sure that Kevin Zhu stays firmly out of his clutches? Meanwhile, back with Jonathan Crane and Trenton McMillan, these guys are still going at it, fighting for P13.
Yes, and looking at the previous lap times, McMillan seems to be the one with the advantage, was 9/10 of a second faster on the previous lap, but Crane sees a great opportunity here coming up to the middle sector, hard on the brakes into Lacombe, and look at the momentum that he makes up there on McMillan. They got to keep an eye out, not too far behind them. Actually, no, that's a lap car there. That's Lewis Alessi in the BMW. So he's not going to be a factor in this one, but he does look pretty fast compared to these two. Got to wonder if he's going to be a spanner in the works here.
Yeah, I think Louis Alessi is pretty respectful, though. We saw him going down the straight earlier, just lifting off, letting all of these drivers go back as efficiently as possible. But certainly, fair play there. That was an absolutely fantastic battle going on between Hansen and Montello. But right now, let's keep an eye here, see if these guys can indeed get into it once again. I do have a feeling strategy may have come into play here, but you do have to wonder, is that going to pay off for him? The GT4 not quite able to carry quite as much straight line speed as some of the other cars in the iRacing garage. Can it be enough, though, to find their way up and ahead before that checkered flag?
That is the question. Lathrop still carrying his... oh, hello.
Checkered flag.
It looks like that is the finish. Okay, so the finish line is on the way out of the chicane. DJ Alessandrini wins. Jake King, Colin Denner, and Adam Kobach round out your top four there. Bit of space between them in the end. Franz Hansen beating Anthony Montello to the line. So it looks like a clear finish for everyone in the top 10, but that final position is still up for grabs. Will Long, Thomas Lathrop, and Wojtek Heidecek a lot closer than I imagined they would be coming across the line, and it looks like Jonathan Crane losing touch with Trenton McMillan in the final few corners there, and that is going to be a well-earned potentially 12th place for McMillan, considering that Lathrop still had that black flag to his name, and that will transition into a time penalty at the end of this one. Ken Housel, meanwhile, managing to fight his way back up to 16th. It's an impressive recovery from his black flag earlier on in the race, but still, he misses out on a lot of crucial championship points.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a rough race there. Indeed, there was a few people who did indeed get caught out, but definitely the worst incident we saw, sadly, took out the driver, the number 15, Reed Shannonbrook. I do feel for him there. Himself, Klaus Wood, and I think Tyler Sadiq all getting into that major incident earlier on, going through Rouge. But fair play, you know, risk versus reward, ladies and gentlemen. As Jack Chrissy, probably one of the biggest hit people to take a hit here tonight at Spa. He's down 17 spots, but still, I've got to say, fair play to him, keeping that McLaren on the road in P19.
Yes, indeed. It's a shame that Chrissy couldn't maintain his incredible qualifying position. And, you know, that would have been a great amount of championship points for him. But he'll have to settle for 19th. And with that, it looks like that's everybody across the line, apart from maybe Timothy Homan, who's still making his way to Blanchimont. And Homan has had a bit of an up and down race, to be honest. Started 22nd and will be classified in 20th place, but those numbers don't tell the full story. He was right in the thick of all of the chaos in the midfield and back of this field as well. But finally, across the line he will come, the last driver to put the foot to the floor at Spa-Francorchamps for round 8 of the WDCR SCCA Virtual Racing League. And that's DJ Alessandrini once again taking victory. 8.3 seconds in it over Jake King and Colin Denner, with Adam Kobach and Franz Hansen rounding out your top 5. Anthony Montello finishes in 6th in the end. And we'll see Kevin Zhu finish 7th from 13th. A great run up there. Andrew Lunsford, bit of contact, putting him back to 8th place, one position down from where he started. And Cooper Van Horn and Will Long battling all the way to the final lap, rounding out your top 10.
Let's have a look there. In P11 was Thomas Lothrop with Wally Hydercheck, the hard charger of the field, taking up 14 spots and finishing there in P12. In 13th, the Mustang of Trenton McMillan with Jonathan Crane right behind in 14th. Thomas Toomey took 15th with Ken Housel sadly back in 16th. Charles Miller took 17th, up 6 positions with Cameron Goof matching that in 18th. Jack Christie sadly down in 19th with Timothy Homan rounding out your top 20.
And Lewis Alessi and Jason Rode were the first cars a lap down, many of them having big issues in this race. Klaus Wood and Tala Sadiq retiring 5 and 6 laps from the end respectively. Reed Shannabrook getting involved in that incident at Eau Rouge that we caught with the contact on the way through there. A great run that Shannabrook was having, unfortunately coming to an end there. And Tom Radford retiring 7 laps from the end. Nick Jones not taking to the start. That is your field. And now we have an opportunity to have a chat to our drivers. First of all, DJ Alessandrini is with us, and once again, it's a lights to flag victory for you, DJ, or just about. It seems no one was safe from the slowdowns at Spa here, even you.
Yeah, it will catch you out. You think that you're safe, and then you come over the crest, and you're like, oh, nope, I done goofed, and then you gotta serve it. Ken tried to serve it by fighting me in the corners, and then ended up with a black flag, so that really didn't work out for him.
No, certainly not. That did grant you in the end over 8 seconds to Jake King and Colin Denner in a car that you're not usually driving this season. You went for the Aston Martin this round, and I'm curious to get your professional opinion on how it compares to the Cayman.
Well, I much prefer how the Cayman drives. I think me and that car we just mesh really well. And the Aston is just as fast as the Cayman, but I was having trouble pulling the pace out of it. It was a little tricky. I was kind of slapping a setup together last second because I thought, I'm going to make it a little interesting tonight. And I asked the Discord, what car should I drive tonight, like at the end of my workday, and put up a bunch of emojis for like what they could vote with. And the Aston is what people put me in, so that's what I drove tonight. And I'll tell you what. The VRS setups and all the paid for setups, they got this car all wrong. But I eventually figured it out, and good thing, because I didn't lead practice. I was third in practice, and then quali I was like, all right, this is I think where the setup would eventually end, and then made a bunch of changes. Pulled in after my first quali lap, and then made a bunch more changes because I liked the direction it was going in. What I ended up on was at least drivable.
Well, drivable to a race victory at the very least, which is all you need, DJ. That's another win on the cards for you, and hopefully we'll see you again at the Bend in a week's time. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, the Bend's an awesome track. Everyone needs to come out for that. It's honestly, it's such an amazing racetrack.
I agree, and that's not just because I'm Australian. That's DJ Alessandrini here, the race winner from today's event. And Zippy, I understand you've had a chance to catch up to our third place finisher, Colin Denner.
Well, good job, Colin. It's great to see you here in the booth, and indeed a solid performance win, a good solid haul of points. Tell us a little bit how it was battling here in the mighty Ford Mustang at Spa.
I will firstly apologize for my voice. I am sick right now, but it was a lot of fun. I had, great initial race pace. I thought, I even thought that I had too little fuel in the car. I was catching up to Ken and DJ. I was like, oh my God, this doesn't happen. And as things transpired, Ken, I don't understand how he got a black flag, but people kept dropping out right in front of me, so I didn't really have to attack so much. But going up through Eau Rouge and Radion really killed me, and I got, I think, 2 or 3 slowdowns through there, and it just let DJ get away. And then as the race went on, it just was a matter of fending off Jake King and friends who put up a great battle, and it was a lot of fun racing them.
Well, definitely fair play to you, Colin. It was indeed a very honourable show. We did get to see some great battles between yourself, Jay King, and I think Adam Kovac was getting involved in there as well.
Yes.
And sadly, Ken
Yes.
getting caught short there. Certainly, the iRacing stewards this week have been absolutely brutal. Don't feel like they victimised you by any means. There's a lot of people, for lack of better words, got hit with a baseball bat in the forms of a slowdown. But Colin, I don't want to try and tax your voice any longer. Certainly, we can relate locally. But I will tell you that we got Michael Decker saying a great job, Colin. And I'm going to add on a get well soon to that as well. Certainly, we do wish you feeling better. But ladies and gentlemen, your third place finisher driving the number 73, that Ford Mustang. Ladies and gentlemen, Colin Denner.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, you're in good company, Colin. I'm having some trouble with my voice as well, but it looks like that's going to be the end of the show for now. Zippy, another great round, some fantastic racing, potentially a bit too defined by the slowdowns, but I'm still very happy with how things went at Spa. We're going to be going to the Bend next week. I'm very hyped for that round. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, certainly the Bend. I don't know if I've quite made it out there yet. Certainly one of the newer tracks in the iRacing service, and certainly one that Reese is looking forward to. And I've got to be honest, his judgment is pretty much spot on, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly, I think we are indeed going to leave you to it for now. Thank you all very much for watching. And if you haven't done it already, please hit that subscribe button. I do find, actually, reading some of the comments, the majority of people are not subscribed. Guys, hit the button for us. We are aiming for the 1,000, and honestly, the bigger we go, the more people who see what we do, the better it's going to be for everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly aiming for that 1,000 subscriber milestone. It would be fantastic if we could reach it by the end of 2025, but we can't do it without you. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name has, and I guess always will be, Daniel Zippy Salmon. And joining me in the commentary booth today, the one and only Mr. Reese Gardner. By all means, check him out on Twitch as well, or indeed YouTube, Southport Racer. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching Pit Road Productions, and we will see you again next week for the Washington District Central Region Sports Car Club of America Virtual Racing League.